Have you ever thought about what it takes to build a mega city, not over centuries, but in, like, a single lifetime? It sounds like something out of science fiction, right? Well, it's not. It's the real story of Shenzhen, and it's honestly one of the most incredible urban transformations in all of human history.
30,000. Back in 1980, that was it. That was the entire population of this little farming and fishing town called Shenzhen. I mean, to put that in perspective, that's smaller than a lot of college campuses are today. Just tiny.
And now, well, just look at this. A sprawling, futuristic metropolis with over 17 million people. That's a population increase of nearly 60,000%. So the big question is, how on earth does that happen? How did a tiny border town become a global powerhouse basically overnight?
So here's how we're going to break this incredible story down. First, we'll figure out where Shenzhen is and talk about the big experiment that got the ball rolling. Then, we'll see how it became the world's factory before making a huge pivot to become the Silicon Valley of hardware. We'll also take a look at what life is actually like there, and at the end, we'll try to figure out what this Shenzhen model's all about.
Okay, so first things first. To really get Shenzhen, you've got to understand where it is. Seriously, its location is everything. It is absolutely the key to the whole story.
So the name itself, it's pronounced Shenzhen. You hear that? A falling tone, then a rising one. Shenzhen. And it literally means deep drainage, which kind of gives you a clue about its geography, right? It's in southern Guangdong province, a place crisscrossed by rivers, always connected to the water.
And this map, this right here, is the crucial point. You see where Shenzhen is? Right on the Pearl River Delta? And look, it's literally touching Hong Kong. That spot, acting as a gateway between mainland China and the rest of the world's economy, that was the #1 reason it was chosen for this grand experiment.
So yeah, that perfect location made it the ideal spot for what became known as the Great Experiment. And this was the spark that lit the fuse on Shenzhen's insane growth.
Okay, let's rewind to 1980. China's leader Deng Xiaoping is launching his reform and opening up policy. But you can't just flip a switch on a communist country and introduce market capitalism, right? So what do? You create a laboratory, a test zone, and that's exactly what Shenzhen became. China's very first special economic zone, a place with its own rules, tax breaks, flexible laws, all designed to pull in foreign money and new ideas.
And boy, did it work. This SEZ idea kicked off decades of just mind-bending growth. It basically turned Shenzhen into the factory floor for the entire planet.
Just look at these numbers. In 1982, you have about 350,000 people. Fast forward to 2020, and it's over 17.5 million. This isn't just growth. The population multiplied. It was a straight-up demographic explosion.
So who were all these people? Well, that's what's so fascinating. This was one of the biggest internal migrations in human history. Young, ambitious people from every corner of China packed their bags and headed to Shenzhen looking for opportunities. And the result is a city that is incredibly young and full of energy. I mean, the average age is just 33. That's way younger than other big cities like Beijing, Shanghai, or even Hong Kong right next door.
So you had this perfect storm brewing, right? You've got money and business smarts pouring in from nearby Hong Kong and Taiwan. And you've got this huge, young, hungry workforce just waiting for a chance. Back in the 80s and 90s, chances are if you bought a t-shirt, a digital watch, or even an iPhone later on, it probably passed through Shenzhen.
But here's where the story gets really interesting. Shenzhen wasn't just going to be the world's workshop forever. They made a crucial pivot. They decided they didn't just want to make things for everyone else. They wanted to design them. This is that huge shift from made in Shenzhen to designed in Shenzhen.
This quote really nails what Shenzhen is all about today. It's got this incredibly dense and super efficient system for making physical stuff, for hardware. Seriously, you could have an idea for a new gadget on Monday morning and be holding a working prototype in your hand by Friday. That's the power of this ecosystem. It's just wild.
And a lot of this started with something called Shanzhai. Now that word originally meant, copycat stuff, knockoff electronics. But here's the crazy twist. All the skills and supply chains that were built to copy things so quickly ended up creating this super flexible, super creative system that's now used for real, genuine innovation.
And this isn't just talk. These advantages are real. Check out this data from McKinsey. To make a prototype somewhere else, you're looking at maybe 10 to 12 days, and it could cost you up to 200 grand. In Shenzhen, you can get it done in 2 or 3 days for as low as 30 grand. That kind of speed and savings,
That's a game changer. It's an almost unbeatable edge.
And it's this exact ecosystem that gave birth to some of the biggest tech companies in the world. You've heard of them, for sure. Huawei, the telecom giant. Tencent, the company behind WeChat. DJI, which basically owns the consumer drone market. And BYD, a massive leader in electric cars. They all call Shenzhen home.
Okay, so we've talked about the business and the tech. But what's it actually like to live there, in this city that just popped up out of nowhere?
You might be surprised to hear this, but for a city that was built on factories, it's super green. They actually call it the city of 1,000 parks. And compared to other huge cities in China, the air quality is remarkably good. The vibe is warm, humid, and there are just a ton of parks and open spaces for people.
But, you know, it's not a complete paradise. See this number? 42%. That's how much of the average person's income goes just to housing. That is a huge problem, it's a massive affordability crisis, and it's a direct result of the city becoming so successful so fast.
And it's not just tech driving everything. Shenzhen's economy is a total powerhouse. It's got the third biggest financial center in all of China. Its port, the fourth busiest on the planet. This city moves incredible amounts of money and products all over the globe.
All right, let's pull all these threads together. Let's talk about this Shenzhen model that people mention. Is this something that could actually happen again somewhere else?
So when you boil it all down, it kind of happened in 4 main steps. Step 1 was the policy, picking that perfect location and setting up that special economic zone. Step 2 was the people, this huge wave of young workers coming in to build the world's factory. Step 3 was the big pivot, using that factory base to become a world leader in hardware innovation. And finally, step 4 is the planning, making it a green, livable city, and now looking to the future by linking up with its neighbors in the Greater Bay Area.
And that leaves us with one big final question. Was Shenzhen just a perfect storm? You know, a unique mix of time, place, and policy that can never happen again. A total one-off miracle? Or does its incredible journey from a tiny fishing village to a high-tech megacity actually give us a blueprint for how we might build the cities of the future?